Call it what it is and take accountability for your actions.
Here is Durant moving on Tucker. He turns, he shoots. Yes!
That might just be one of the greatest playoff shots I've ever seen. KD with a game-tying dagger, inches away from sealing the deal. That is definitely not getting topped for a long time.
Crowder looking, throws it alley. Yeah! Puts it down!
Well, that didn't take long. This year's playoffs have been wild. Unpredictable matchups, crazy endings, airtight Game 7s, and a new wave of teams and players fighting for their first title. I can't remember the last time the playoffs were this entertaining. Trae Young has become the villain we didn't want, but desperately needed. There's no super teams remaining, and the most recent title out of all 4 of these teams was 50 years ago. So the results of this playoff will be historic no matter how you split it.
Yes, sir,
Paul George
yes,
has
sir.
lifted the Clippers to the conference finals for the first time in franchise history with no Kawhi. The Suns ascended from the depths of NBA hell to now being one of the favorites to win the title.
Sir.
And Ben Simmons can't shoot.
I'm
But
not
we
gonna lie,
already-
this right here is
The
crazy.
title.
Hold on.
And Ben
This is.
Simmons.
You're afraid of Trae Young? Dunk the fucking ball, nigga! Bro, this is crazy to me, bro. Oh my god. Mari, appreciate the 21-month resub. Jesus fuck. That crazy. Thank you for the 21 months. Mari, Connie, appreciate the 100 bits. Shamar, Cole, appreciate the 3 months. Kai Capalot, appreciate the 5 months.
can't shoot.
I can't believe you passed this shit, bro. You're afraid of this nigga? Just go up.
But we already knew that. But as awesome as the playoffs have been, it hasn't come without its own set of setbacks and weird events.
This nigga John Collins has put this nigga Joel Embiid in a poster like 5 times this playoffs. This is crazy.
Now, personally, I'm enjoying all the young new faces we are seeing throughout the playoffs. Teams that aren't synonymous with deep postseason runs and players that we aren't used to seeing under the playoff spotlight. But the lack of star power in the 4 teams remaining is a bit odd and completely unprecedented. Out of the 15 players that were named All-NBA this season, only 3 are remaining in both conference finals if we do not include Kawhi, who is out indefinitely. Where's all the stars? Well, they're at home, out of the playoffs, recovering from injury. Stars. Well, they're at
This nigga on Twitch. This nigga playing
At
GTA.
home. Out of the
That
playoffs,
crazy.
recovering from injuries.
nigga playing
So
GTA.
far in the playoffs, there have been 9 All-Stars who have missed considerable time on the court. 9. And because of this, it's easy to conclude that this year's playoffs, or at least this last run these teams will have to make to win a title, is easier or less exciting than past seasons. And this couldn't be further from the truth. As a fan of the game, do you know how exciting it is to see a young guy like Devin Booker showcase his skill on the biggest stage? For a third-year player like Trae Young to lead the Atlanta Hawks to the conference finals? For complementary players like Terrence Mann, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Mikal Bridges to get reps in these huge moments and come up big like they've been there before? Do y'all know how exciting it has been to watch the future of the league and young guys like John Collins and DeAndre Ayton step up and play like NBA vets in their first ever playoff appearance? The Clippers, Suns, and Hawks in the conference finals? Am I in an alternate universe or something? This is what happens when the league is more balanced. Granted, this balance came in the form of injuries and a weird COVID year. Nonetheless, the reality of winning a championship is very real for all of these teams. And because of that, we are seeing each and every one of these teams fight tooth and nail for their spot in the history books, which I think we can all agree beats the idea of a super team running through the playoffs without breaking a sweat. And speaking of super teams, my pick to win it all is officially out of the playoffs. After losing Kyrie to an injury in the second round and James Harden shuffling around on one leg, the Brooklyn Nets were in a rough spot just 3.5 games into the second round. But I want to take a moment to give praise to the absolutely magnificent performance by Kevin Durant. Because even through all the injuries and setbacks, the Nets were just inches, literally inches, away from the Eastern Conference Finals thanks to an incredible series and an all-time Game 7 performance by Durant. 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and a Game 7 playoff record, 48 points. This was a masterclass in the game of basketball. Spoiled by his size 18 shoes. But
That
you
nigga
wanna know
wear a
something
size
crazy?
16? Y'all go
As
to the
incredible
gym.
as his Game 7 performance was, this wasn't even his best game of the series.
Good crush the defense by Milwaukee. Now Durant fires.
That nigga really got a 50-point triple-double.
With the shot clock running down, he hits from downtown.
49 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists on an 82% true shooting percentage, topped off with a 26-foot game-winning dagger only Kevin Durant could manufacture. This man had 20 points in the fourth quarter to dig his team out of a 16-point deficit and come away with the win. This Game 5 was Durant's masterpiece, the best game of his entire career, and it really isn't even close. To put this incredible performance into perspective, before Game 5, KD's highest game scores in a playoff game were 35.1, his best playoff game during his time with the Thunder, 2 games with a game score of 38.5, 38.8, which came in his 50-point performance against the Clippers 2 seasons ago, and 39.6, which came in the finals 3 seasons ago when he dropped an efficient 43 and 13. But Durant's Game 5 against the Bucks on Tuesday was far better than any game he has ever played in the playoffs in his
That
entire
nigga Durant
career.
is legendary,
In
bro.
fact, Durant's Game 5 against the Bucks was far better than any game he has had in his entire career. Every all-time great player has a career-defining single-game performance. This was KD's, his masterpiece. What's even more insane is where Durant's game ranks all-time in single-game playoff game scores. Of every single playoff game since 1977, these are the top 10 best performances according to GameScore. Durant's highest playoff game score in a single game going into Game 5 ranked just 63rd all time. But after a historic outing, KD now owns the 3rd best single playoff performance since the creation of the stat, after being down 17 in a series-altering Game 5. The box
Nigga
plus
said, "Where's
minus
LeBron?"
of every net starter that game: negative 12.8, negative 11.8, 2.7, negative 12.1, and 24.6. But look closely at this leaderboard of all-time great playoff games. And, you see anything interesting?
Damn, up top.
Damian Lillard, all the way at the top, with the greatest individual playoff performance since 1977. Talk about an underappreciated performance. I think collectively the NBA community talked about this game for, I don't know, about 24 hours, and that was about it. Do y'all even know what we witnessed that game from Dame? The greatest individual playoff performance in modern NBA history. 55 points on a 97% true shooting percentage. 10 assists, 17 points in overtime alone, and
Nah, that
NBA
nigga was
playoff record
ballin'.
12 threes in the game, all to lose by 7 in the second overtime. Which means chances are this mind-melting performance will probably be lost and buried among the other all-time great games that apparently don't matter because it didn't result
That
in a
nigga
win.
was
And these
hooping.
insane stat lines and masterful offensive outbreaks will inevitably become less and less rare because, as we've discussed before, NBA players are getting more skilled, more savvy, and more offensively gifted every season. At the moment, Kevin Durant is 3rd all-time in points per game in the playoffs, only behind Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson. But what if I told you that LeBron James, Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Davis, Stephen Curry, Nikola Jokic, and Damian Lillard all cracked the top 15 highest points per game in the playoffs as well? The league's been around for 75 years, and somehow half of the best playoff scorers ever are all in the league right now. And this doesn't even include players who don't have enough games to qualify for this list, like Luka Doncic and Trae Young. And if we
Where
take
my nigga Book at? Oh, yeah.
another look at the top playoff game scores of all time, you'll see that out of the top 100 playoff game scores since 1977, 28 came in the last 4 seasons. For perspective,
I see my nigga Book.
it took 15 seasons from 2003 to 2017 for the NBA to produce the
Nah,
same
Book
amount of
numbers went
top
down, though,
100
this
all-time playoff
series.
games. In other words, NBA
Before this series, Book was averaging 28 in the playoffs. And then his numbers went down.
players are balling out of their minds. So, if the Clippers win it all, Paul George wins his 1st ring, Kawhi wins his 3rd, the Clippers franchise will finally join the champion circle, and we may never hear the Pandemic P nickname ever again.
Them niggas not winning a ring. Listen, last night I think is what solidified it for y'all. Y'all don't have any gas left. Y'all needed that win so bad, bro, and they lost. I'm not gonna lie, it's over. Suns in 5, bro. Like, I'm telling y'all, the mental toll that loss took on the Clippers at home, they're not beating us in Phoenix, bro. Y'all needed that win bad and y'all lost, bro.
But probably not. If the Suns win, Chris Paul will finally and deservedly reach the mountaintop and will forever be a champion. And we will never hear the end of the Devin Booker-Kobe Bryant comparison. If the Bucks win, Giannis will get his first ring, and the idea that his game isn't suited for playoff basketball will, or at least should, be silenced. And if the Hawks win, Trae Young will officially be crowned the GOAT by, what's the population of Atlanta? 500,000 people. But no matter what happens, from here on out, we are on a collision course with history in the making. And in the end, only one team will survive to tell the tale. Hope you all enjoyed, and as always,
my Suns.
Until next time.
Gonna be my Suns. Gonna be my Suns. I need Butt to recreate this picture. Hold on.